welcome back. You're still watching Fut-Afrique. We're chatting up a storm as we count down to that much-anticipated Africa Cup of Nations, the 34th edition that will take center stage out in Côte d'Ivoire. Now, Brian, it's a momentous occasion, an illustrious one. When you look at the layout of the competition, obviously, these games need to take place at certain venues. 6 stadiums have been allocated for this tournament.
6 stadiums. I think that the key one, when we did the CAF Women's Champions League, there was one as known named after Laurent Pokou.
And we did ask, who is that man?
Well, he was the record scorer in the Afcon tournament previously, before Samuel Eto'o came about and smashed that record. He had 14 goals. Samuel Eto'o eventually got it to a total of 18 goals. You know, this is San Pedro. That's where the venue is, in Abidjan as well. So majority of the stadiums are based in Abidjan. There's one that for me was very important. The one that hosted the final as well is one of the venues they actually have for this competition. But the key one, you know, when you always talk about independence in Africa.
Yes, it's a big thing.
We always talk about how Ivory Coast moved from being, you know, Côte d'Ivoire, how it became to be Côte d'Ivoire after the independence in the 1960s, and who was the first president, you know. So that's the stadium. One of the stadiums is actually named after Félix Houphouët-Boigny. Boigny, rather. So
teach me how to say that.
It's Félix
Houphouët.
Yeah.
Boigny. Boigny.
Boigny. As in you say, Manyesa.
Oh, Boigny.
Yeah, got it finally.
Well, interesting. 6 stadiums will take center stage, and as we do unfold and count down to the Afcon, we'll definitely get you to know a little bit more about these stadiums. But let's take a look at Group A. Interesting one. Nations that know each other really well. Côte d'Ivoire, Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea, as well as Guinea-Bissau.
It's a rare thing to find teams that were in the previous edition coming back to be in the same group. You know, you look at in a 2021 edition in Cameroon, you had 2 countries in the same group, 2 countries in the same group. Also key, 2 countries played each other in the qualifiers. Never thought we'd see that happening, you know, but it's happening this year. And that's very interesting for the next edition of the Afcon. Because if you remember, Nigeria in their group in the previous edition finished on top. You know, they managed to advance to the next stage, eventually knocked out in the last 16 round of the competition.
Tunisia?
Yeah, you still remember that. Funny, you still remember that, you know?
Tunisia, I'll ask you that.
Yeah, it's like, Tunisia? Am I sure? Oh yeah, it is Tunisia who knocked them out. Well done, Itu. Well done for that one. So they were there, but also you look at the fact that, you know, Côte d'Ivoire, as well as Equatorial Guinea were in the same group in Group E. You know, they finished 1 and 2. Côte d'Ivoire were top. Equatorial Guinea finished 2nd in that group. But what was very interesting is that Côte d'Ivoire also knocked out in the last 16. But Equatorial Guinea managed to get to the quarterfinals. They lost to the eventual winners of the competition. Senegal. You know, Guinea-Bissau, on the other hand, did not even progress past the group stages. But they find themselves in the same group this time around where Nigeria is sitting. So it's going to be very interesting to see how those ties will actually pan out, because they know each other very well. Played in the qualifiers. In the qualifying stage of the competition, by the way, Guinea-Bissau and Nigeria, when you look at how they actually played, you'll realize that each won their home game. So now, it's all about the competition proper. Nigeria haven't won this since 2013 in South Africa. Can he come back and win it? Côte d'Ivoire hasn't won it since 2015, when they played and eventually were coached there by Averena.
The man with the crisp white shirt, and he always had that slick back hair. He always like has it. I like that hairstyle.
I don't know whether it's either about the shirt or what, but when you start doing that, I realize
he's a handsome man.
I realize you're one of those who're sitting and you're like, oh,
hello, coach.
When the game is on,
He's just a good-looking man.
I know. And I will move right along.
Let's move right along. Let's wrap up that conversation, because I do want to touch on some nominations and some interesting stuff that are taking place for women's football. But just with regards to how it's lined up, I want to know from you, do you think it's fair for the nation that is hosting to still play within the qualifiers? I think it makes it a tad bit harder.
Listen, well, what was nice about it was the fact that it was from a classification point of view. So meaning the teams that are in the same group as Côte d'Ivoire. Therefore, it meant only one can progress into the tournament proper, you know? And what he did is also was that because Zambia managed to win. Remember, Côte d'Ivoire finished with Zambia on the same number of points, but Zambia therefore progressed because of them sitting a goal difference. You know, that's how they managed to advance. I mean, you can talk about the same story about how Equatorial Guinea managed to progress when they were sitting in the same group with Tunisia. So all of those will come into play. But for me, it just really gives the host nation some competitive matches. Because
Okay.
the problem is that most of the time the host nation does not play these qualifiers, does not do anything. They sit back and wait for the competition.
Yeah.
Competition gets there, they're stagnant, they don't actually have much game time, then they struggle.
Yeah, okay, fair. They know what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah.
But Brian, let's just touch quickly on some CAF nominations. The females nominees have officially been announced. Mamelodi Sundowns shining in there. We also have players from Morocco, but the tried and tested ones, obviously familiar faces that we were expecting to be there.
You know, when I looked at the list, the top 10 nominees for the best woman, player of the year, I looked at it and I thought, you know what, Fatima Taknaout for me. If you were to ask me who to vote for, I'll say she's sitting right there.
What about the Ramane?
No. But she didn't make the list for the top in a woman of the year. For the players, for the player of the year. So I'm saying that in the player of the year, that is overall, club and country. You know, Taknaout for me is sitting there.
Fair.
I'm very happy to see the goalkeepers have been added. Andile Zamin is in there as well. You also have Nadozia for Nigeria in the part of the setup. So I'm very happy to see that. But if you're to talk about performance-wise, I'll say Andile Zamin given a chance. She's done very well. I'll be happy to see her win it. But it's going to be very tight between her. Nadozia also going to be very tight when you talk about one player that has been taken out. For me, she has been a marvel to watch. From the first time I saw in 2021 all the way to now, I've got to say, what a star player.
Well, all the celebrations will go down in Marrakesh. This will be on the 11th of December, where the official best players for women and men will be crowned, saluted, and definitely honored out in Morocco.